We also need to change accountability, public policy, and what we can do as a society, because as you'll see later on, public policy does not change unless we change, and the United States is a perfect example of inaction because it is not in our best national interest. So the word genocide itself was not created until after the Harero-Nama and the Armenian genocide. It's created by Raphael Lemkin, who was a Polish Jew who ran from the Nazis and created the word here in the United States. Specifically, he was a professor at Duke University, and that's where he started creating these words. They come from the root word of geno and cadre, which means ethnic killing. The current definition of genocide is the means of any of the following acts with intent to destroy, whole or in part, a national, ethnic, or religious group: killing the members, causing serious bodily and mental harm, deliberately inflicting on the group conditions of life, imposing measures to intend to prevent births, or forcibly transferring children. This definition lacks seriously. It does not consider political groups, it does not consider other underlying causes. The Armenian genocide is debated between Turkey and Armenia still to this day because of the nitpicking of this definition. We just can't have this anymore. People who were victims in Cambodia are not seen as victims because they were political dissidents. Their entire families were killed because they did not fit the status quo. The group itself was killed because they were a specific group, and that's why we need to change this definition. It's not the standard, and plenty of groups around the world today are being killed because of a specific part of their identity, and it's not considered in the definition. So during my study of genocide, we all came up with different things, but my common causes was the fog of war. Samantha Power, who is the author of A Problem from Hell, where the name of the thesis comes from, she looks at the inaction of the United States during the 20th century with genocides, but she states itself that genocide and war are they're intertwined together almost always. There's always a war, there's always something, and every single one of the genocides I've studied, there is violence, there is conflict, or there is a way for the perpetrators to hide behind the fog of war. It's really hard for sovereign states outside of their territory to figure out, well, who died because of war and who was purposely killed. With this, war is one of the main causes, but having willing executioners. There has to be someone there who's like, well, I guess I'll go pick up a gun today and shoot someone. If you don't have that person there, there's no genocide. You have to have someone who is willing to go out there and do the killing. And with that comes compelling leaders. Many of the executioners of genocide said that they felt relief when they were told that, given an order to shoot someone, because it was no longer on them. Many of the Rwandan perpetrators said, yeah, we were just told what to do and we went out and we did it. And we hunted day and night for other people. And they just did it because they were told what to do. Some of the other underlying causes, obviously, racism, anti-Semitism, fear of the minority group, nationalism, religion, ethnic differences, politics, all these things come together. Other things that do cause genocide or they propel it are propaganda and fear. Many of the times perpetrators are tell people they are afraid of what this minority might do to them and propels them to go out and kill. With this, we need to understand that minorities almost 100% of the time cannot go out and do this. They do not have the power to go out and kill the group, harm them in any sort of way, or damage them. And with that, each genocide, while they may have commonalities, they're all different, obviously. Different groups, different times, different people. So, there's the actors of genocide. There's 3 groups that I studied, that we all studied. And with those, it's the victims, perpetrators, and the bystanders. The main bystander that I studied was the US government. They, as American people, we have failed others, for lack of better words. We have let people die, and specifically our State Department and presidents have let people die because it was not in our best interest. With that, there's a fine line between victims of evil and perpetrators of evil, and it is the power to hold over that person. Again, there's common differences. Each genocide has a common bystander. Here, I have at the top a picture of Romeo Dallaire. He was a UN commander in Rwanda during the genocide, and I wouldn't call this man a bystander, I would call him a hero, but that's a different story. He tried his best to stop and mitigate the violence that was happening to individuals in Rwanda, but alas, the UN said it was not in their interest to do that, and he had to step out. This man is haunted to this very day for the inaction that happened and occurred. In the middle, there is Armenian victim, and at the bottom, I realized my error in the picture. That is Pol Pot, who is the mastermind behind the Cambodian genocide. Obviously, I made the hero in the instance look like the bad guy, and the bad guy looked like the hero with the smiling. But again, that's the compellingness of the leader itself. He was compelling enough that he allowed 14 to 16-year-olds to go and beat people to death. So, with that, the U.S. involvement and lack thereof. This is the key point from Samantha Power's book. The United States is aware of almost every single genocide. They know well in advance, they have the ability to do things, and they will not do anything. There's usually guilt always at the end of genocides of, I'm sorry, we're sorry this happened. You can see it now with Bill Clinton, with others, they will always try to apologize after the fact, even when they knew better. But what can we do about this? So, my possible solutions to genocide. With this, stopping war. Again, this is not, I think everyone in this room knows that stopping war is never going to happen. People will always want to kill one another. It doesn't matter if there's a genocide involved, people will kill others. So this is a very happy-go-lucky, like, we can stop this. But we can also persuade executioners to stop the violence itself. We can educate others on the stages of genocide and when to find it and where to find it. The 10 stages are follow discrimination, dehumanization, and if we can point those signs out ahead of time, we can send people in to stop the violence. We have constructed responses to conflict, which include sending in aid. Maybe there's economic difficulties like how there were in Nazi Germany. We can send in help for individuals.